Well, okay, why don't we jump right into the content? Why don't we jump right into chapter 1 of the textbook and let's start talking about agricultural policy. And before we start talking about agricultural policy, I want to throw out a couple of economic buzzwords. So you've taken ag economics if you're in this classroom. It's a prerequisite for the class, or it should be a prerequisite for the class. And I want to talk about something that I feel that when people get on Facebook and debate policy, right? And when we talk about policy in this class, we do a really bad job of talking about this next topic. And it's a topic that I want to kind of come back to a lot. All right? I'm going to be repetitive. I've been accused of being repetitive in the classroom, but I do it on purpose because I want to just drive home some important concepts. So in economics, if you open up your standard intro to econ textbook, whether it be an ag econ book or any such book, and you were to flip to the first chapter, you're going to find two types of economics. You're going to find ways of doing economic analysis. There's a thing called positive economics, and there's a thing called normative economics. And well, here's the difference, right? Positive economics deals with facts and figures and numbers and theory and math and kind of how things are, right? If I were to say the price of corn is $3.50, then I am talking about positive economics, meaning I'm going to state a verifiable fact that you can go look up and verify or dispute. Or I'm going to state a theory that you can collect data on and test the theory. We call that hypothesis testing. That's positive economics. It's a thing that we can know, right? We can discover it, we can look it up, we can find out. It's information at the end of the day. It's verifiable facts, it's testable theories, it's concepts that you can prove in some way, mathematically, for example. And then there's the other thing, which is what we call normative economics. Normative economics deals with value judgments. We bring our own personal values into the situation, and we look at a situation and we say, this is good or bad. What the hell does good or bad mean? I don't know what good or bad means. I know what good or bad means when I look at a thing and say that thing is good or that thing is bad. But there are other people that look at the exact same thing and go, oh yeah, that's bad. You don't want that. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Normative, right? I'm driving down the road the other day and I see a four-wheel drive truck, and the front end's been lifted and the back end has been lowered, and so it's kind of pointing up in the air. And I'm looking at that going, I'm not sure what the purpose of this is. This is one, it's ugly, but the person who put this thing together obviously likes it for some reason or they wouldn't have. And so I'm taking my values, my belief system, and I'm imposing it upon them, and I'm doing normative. I'm looking at it and I'm saying that is bad. Well, I did a little bit of research, and apparently the idea is if you're off-road and you're doing jumps, if you're jumping your truck, you want the back end to land first. And so you raise the back end, so you raise the front end, lower the back end, and you come off the jump better. Like, what the heck? Who's really taking their $50,000 pickup truck off-road and jumping it, really? But I look at it and I go, what the hell are you thinking? But it makes sense to them. And they look at it and they go, I've got this awesome thing. I got this cool look I was going for. I have hobbies that I do that people think are stupid. And, so what, right? Think what you want. One of the telltale words that every textbook that talks about this says is when someone uses the word should. Well, the price of corn is $3.50, positive economics, but I'm a cattle farmer and I'm feeding corn. The price of corn should be lower. Well, what if I raise corn and the price of corn is $3.50? I'm looking at the same thing and I'm going, the price of corn should be higher. That word should is problematic because most textbooks will lead students to think when they see the word should that someone's using normative economics. That is not correct. For example, the law of demand says that when the price goes up, the quantity demanded should go down. If you want to be really technically accurate about the law of demand says that when the price goes up, the quantity cannot go up. The quantity can stay the same or go down, but it can't go up. So I can look at the demand curve and say that just says that when the price goes up, the quantity demanded should go down. People buy less when things are cheaper. That's what the law of demand says. I use the word should to indicate that I'm making a prediction. So you've got to read with more depth. You've got to listen with more depth. When someone says should, you've got to stop and say, did they make a prediction, or did they list their values? Every time I get in front of a class and I say positive economics, we're going to use facts. Normative economics, we're going to use feelings and opinions and the way I think the world should be. Which one is better? Everybody, no matter their political affiliation, no matter their background, says, oh, we want to do positive economics, Dr. Gardner, because we want to actually deal with reality. And I find it interesting that everyone thinks that they're doing positive economics. The reality is, no one gives a shit about positive economics. No one cares about positive economics without normative economics. The only reason why we analyze policy is because someone out there thinks that the world should be a certain way, and they see that the world is not that way, and they want to find a way to make the world that they envision. So what I'd like to do is I would like to practice both at the same time. Someone's going to say, farmers should make more money. They work hard and they deserve more, which is in essence the story of agricultural policy. Someone's going to say that. And as an economist, my job is not to tell them that their should is wrong. I'm not supposed to make a judgment on how you feel about a thing. You can feel how you want to feel about a thing. My job as an economist, and what we're going to talk about in this class, is we're going to talk about, well, okay, let's take that action you think we should take. And we're going to see what chain of events that kicks off. And we're going to ask the question, well, you made this change, that caused this chain of events to kick off. Is this chain of events worth it to make this outcome happen? What does it cost to make your should come true?